What if I told you that Ferrari may have just stumbled upon the breakthrough Lewis Hamilton has been waiting for? What if all the issues that plagued the SF25 in the early races of 2025 could suddenly fade? Not because of a miracle, but because of a circuit that plays to every single one of Ferrari's strengths? Today, we dive deep into what might be the turning point for Lewis Hamilton's first season in red. With the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix just around the corner, fresh reports suggest Ferrari's upgrade package might be a genuine game-changer, and the timing couldn't be better. Let's break it down. The problem: SF25's early struggles. Ferrari's SF25 has been one of the most complex machines to read this season. On paper, it showed promise, but in reality, the car's setup window was razor-thin. Any deviation from ideal conditions, bumps on track, setup compromises, tire temperature swings, and the car just refused to perform. The low ride height concept, which was supposed to enhance aero efficiency, quickly became a liability. We saw the consequences firsthand in China when Hamilton was disqualified for excessive skid block wear. Ferrari tried to run the car low, and it backfired. Then in Suzuka, forced to raise the ride height, they sacrificed performance. The car became unpredictable, undrivable in some corners. And for Hamilton, still adapting to life at Ferrari, it meant constant compromise. The update: a new floor, a new hope. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In Bahrain, Ferrari quietly introduced a new floor. It didn't immediately deliver fireworks, but it planted the seed. The car showed signs of improvement, especially over longer runs. The potential was there, but the full benefit remained locked away by one thing: track characteristics. Enter Jeddah. This street circuit is smooth, high speed, and low on tire degradation. It's everything the SF25 needs. And according to Gazzetta dello Sport, Ferrari's data is glowing. The new floor, combined with the track's unique demands, has reportedly expanded the SF25's operating window by 30% compared to Bahrain. Let that sink in. A 30% increase in setup flexibility. That's massive. Why Jeddah could be a turning point. This wider window means the team can finally run the car closer to the ground, exactly where it was meant to be. That brings aerodynamic gains, more downforce, a better center of gravity, and crucially for Hamilton, more front-end grip. Remember, Lewis has struggled most during qualifying. The lack of bite on turn-in, the inability to trust the front end, that's where his lap times have vanished. But in Jeddah, if Ferrari can deliver that grip, qualifying could finally become a strength. And in a track where starting position is everything, that's a critical shift. Hamilton, finally coming alive. Hamilton himself has hinted at a breakthrough. After Bahrain, he told reporters, "I figured out how to drive this car." That may sound simple, but it's huge. He's changed braking points, started using engine braking, something he hasn't done in over a decade. He's adapting to Ferrari's unique characteristics, particularly Brembo's braking systems, which feel drastically different from what he had at Mercedes. Fred Vasseur has been clear: this is a two-way relationship. Ferrari will evolve the car to suit Hamilton, but Hamilton must meet them halfway, and it seems like that evolution is finally syncing up. The bigger strategic picture. If Jeddah delivers as expected, the implications go far beyond a single race. Ferrari will need to ask themselves some tough questions. Do they continue balancing development between Leclerc and Hamilton, or do they start leaning into the setup direction that's yielding better performance? Because time is not on their side. McLaren has surged ahead. Red Bull, while still dangerous, looks beatable. The window for a championship challenge is narrow, and Ferrari needs to commit now if they want to make a dent in either title race. And with over 20 races still left this season, a successful Jeddah outing could spark something bigger. Internal dynamics, Charles versus Lewis. We also can't ignore the potential intra-team tension. So far, Leclerc has had the edge, especially in qualifying. But if Hamilton finds his rhythm this weekend, that dynamic could shift fast. Two drivers equally matched, driving for a team as politically charged as Ferrari. History shows us how explosive that can become. Jeddah might be the first real test of how the team handles success when it's shared. Psychology and momentum. There's also the psychological angle. For Hamilton, this isn't just about lap times, it's about trusting the car. And when Lewis trusts the car underneath him, we all know what happens. He becomes more aggressive, more confident, more dangerous. We've seen it at Mercedes time and again. Once he feels connected to the machine, he enters another level. If the SF25 finally feels like his car this weekend, then we might be witnessing the true beginning of Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari era, because if this is where Ferrari truly turns the page, then we are witnessing a shift not just for Hamilton, but for the entire 2025 Formula One narrative. The reality is, Formula One seasons are often defined not by dominance from the start, but by who finds form at the right moment. We've seen teams claw their way back into contention before. What makes Ferrari's situation different this time is the combination of timing, data-backed upgrades, and a driver with everything to prove. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari just to finish races. He came to win, to redefine his legacy, and to etch a new chapter in the scarlet book of F1 history. And if this Saudi Grand Prix lives up to the potential it now holds, that chapter may be starting to write itself in real time. Remember, this isn't just about a few tenths of a second or some marginal gains in setup. This is about clarity, both mechanical and psychological. It's about a 7-time world champion finally getting a platform he can trust, after months of second-guessing, frustration, and searching for a rhythm that never quite clicked. Imagine what it does to a team when the driver steps out of the car with a genuine smile, not the media-trained grin, but the kind that says, "I felt it today. I could fight today." That energy is contagious. It lights up engineers, it sharpens mechanics, it fuels strategy meetings with optimism rather than damage control, and perhaps most crucially, it galvanizes the garage. But let's also not overlook the pressure Ferrari is under. With Red Bull showing cracks in the armor and McLaren currently leading the charge, Ferrari must seize this moment. F1 history is unforgiving to missed opportunities. If the SF25 truly finds balance in Jeddah, then the directive from Maranello has to be clear. Build on it, fast. The European leg is where title campaigns are shaped and broken. The development race will intensify, and momentum from a strong showing in Saudi Arabia could set the tone for Ferrari's entire mid-season stretch. Then there's the teammate dynamic. Charles Leclerc versus Lewis Hamilton. Thus far, Charles has been the more comfortable driver in the SF25, but Hamilton is renowned for playing the long game. He studies, adapts, refines. And if the car begins to behave the way he wants, then that comfort gap could close rapidly. When two top-tier drivers sense opportunity, the internal competition ramps up, and with it, the pressure on Ferrari's leadership to manage egos, priorities, and long-term strategies. So what will we see this weekend? Will Hamilton unlock the version of himself that's gone toe-to-toe with the greatest of all time? Will the SF25 finally run low, fast, and legal without compromise? Will Ferrari show the rest of the grid that they've cracked the code that's been haunting them since preseason testing? Or will it be another story of almost, where potential flickers but doesn't fully ignite? We're on the verge of finding out. And what makes this so exciting is that for the first time in 2025, it feels like Ferrari isn't chasing the light. It feels like they're finally catching it. Let us know in the comments what you expect to see. Is Hamilton ready to rise again? Can Charles hold him off? And if Ferrari really has found a breakthrough, do you believe they can take the fight to McLaren and Red Bull over the long haul? Whatever happens next, buckle up. Because Jeddah might just be the spark. And in Formula One, one spark is all it takes to start a fire. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss what comes next. Because if the red team is really back, the championship fight is about to get a whole lot more interesting. And as we look ahead, it's important to remember, this isn't just about one race. It's about momentum, belief, and shifting the psychological landscape of the season. Because when Ferrari finds its rhythm, when that prancing horse starts to gallop with confidence rather than stumble with uncertainty, the entire paddock feels it.